Joining us now is Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinx.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. You never get tired, do you? Good morning, Tundu Abiola.
Every time I see you, I'm excited.
Me too. Good morning, Rufai. How are you this morning?
Morning, Oji.
Perfect.
Morning, Tundu. Morning, everybody.
All right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United States, billionaire Elon Musk's transgender daughter, Xavier Alexander Musk, has applied to legally change her name and her gender because she no longer wants to be related to Musk, her biological father. The 18-year-old has asked to be recognized as female and her name to be changed to Vivian Jenna Wilson. And Dmitry Muratov, an award-winning Russian journalist, has raised $103.5 million for Ukrainian refugee children by auctioning off his Nobel Peace Prize. Muratov, who was awarded the gold medal in October 2021, having found the independent Russian newspaper Novaya Gazeta, smashed the record for the highest sum paid for the medal at auction in New York City. Under sports, tennis champion Serena Williams made a winning return to action at the Eastbourne International on Tuesday as she and her partner, Ons Jabeur, defeated Sarah Tomorrow and Marie Boskova in the women's doubles. The former world number one had not played competitive tennis since limping out of last year's first-round match at Wimbledon, where she has won 7 of her 23 Grand Slam singles titles in tears due to a leg injury. Then, 4-time Grand Slam Japanese tennis champion Naomi Osaka on Tuesday announced the launch of a new media company in partnership with 4-time NBA champion LeBron James, aimed at telling stories that cross cultural barriers. Finally, under entertainment, jurors at a civil trial on Tuesday found that embattled actor and comedian Bill Cosby sexually abused a 16-year-old girl at the Playboy Mansion in 1975. The Los Angeles County jury delivered the verdict in favor of Judy Huff, who is now 64 years old, and awarded her $500,000. Well, let's begin what's trending in Enugu State, where a group of young people marched en masse to the Independent National Electoral Commission office on Tuesday to protest over the lack of voters' registration machines. The protesters were heard chanting, "INEC, give us machine."
Machine. Give us machine.
Well, our Rise News' Ebal Ejikeme spoke to some of the protesters.
We went to where we are supposed to get our PVC. So they said it's only one machine that is working. And we have been there, we've been coming for like 3 weeks now. It is not fair. There is no way you can be providing one machine for each local government or two machines.
I came today thinking that from what I heard from TV, that they brought, I don't know, they said up to 100. To my surprise, I met only one machine here. But I am very happy that I met the young people too. Because my own generation, you see my own generation, and the generation before us, we have messed up this country. Yes. We want the youth to wake up.
For today, they said they will be releasing extra one machine to add to the one we have because they don't have any other machine here, which is not enough. And they're saying the fault is not them. The INEC Nigeria from Abuja did not provide enough machines. That they provide 2 machines per local government, which is very, very bad. They need to provide more machines. And I don't know how we're going to register 2,000 people with just 2 machines.
Well, in Lagos, an eyewitness at an INEC office said its officials demanded that residents present their state-owned ID cards before they can be registered for the permanent voter's card. The state-owned ID cards are issued by the Lagos State Residents Registration Agency. Let's take a look before we take some reactions.
Youths are fighting for their right. They say we should go and get last trial registration before PVC. Who said that? No last trial.
Lagos State.
Who said that?
It's for Lagos State. It's a party. Last is a Lagos party.
Yes, so
APC party.
That's APC strategies in order for them to get us slow down.
Lagos State asking for last trial.
It's our right. It's our right. Give us our right. It's our right. It's our right. BBC. 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 It's our right. It's our right.
Well, let's take a tweet from David, who wrote, "Nobody should have to register to vote in a constitutional democracy. Voting is a core right of citizenship, like freedom of speech and freedom of movement. To subject it to secondary process is to take away a constitutional right. This thing needs to go to court today. Being an adult citizen of Nigeria with valid government-issued ID should be enough to vote. If you don't let me vote because I don't have a piece of plastic or the machine didn't read the piece of plastic, you have taken away one of my core rights as a citizen. Court, please." Tundu Abiola, over to you.
I'm just so happy to see the kind of massive engagement that we're witnessing now. And yes, I do understand that INEC must be at their wits' end. They've had this entire setup, I think since last summer, I think since last June, continuous voter registration, but in typical Nigerian fashion, it's all at the last minute, everybody's rushing, but that is typical Nigerian fashion. Whether it's PVC, BVN, NIN, we do tend to wait till the very last minute. You even have presidential candidates with their placeholder vice presidential candidates because everything is last minute. That's how we are. And I think INEC should have been prepared for that. This was always going to happen. This is our culture. We are a nation of procrastinators. I'm sorry. But I love the fact that people are out there trying to be engaged. The only thing that I will say that saddens me is that it's obvious that there has been some kind of catalyst that is driving this new political engagement, and that is suffering. I'm sad that we had to stoop to these depths for people to really wake up, especially the youth, and try and reclaim their country back. It's so sad that we have to go through what we're going through, but it will be wonderful. The silver lining to all of this is that people are determined to change it. So it's very important for INEC to provide the machines that people are demanding and stop creating unnecessary impediments for people to register to vote. And it's also important that people, when they do register to vote, go and collect your PVC. So there are three parts to this process. Registration is not the end of it. You have to collect your PVCs. Because I remember just before the last election, there were millions of PVCs that had not been collected. Some statistics said 20 million, some statistics said 11 million that were not collected. You must collect your PVC after fighting to get it. And then election day, come out and vote.
Dr. Obati, I wanted you to address David Houdini's tweet about whether or not we need a PVC as a Nigerian, just because of time.
One, look, we've been having issues, either at Okpara Square in Enugu, or the other day at Amuwa Dofin, or the other day at the old parade ground in Abuja. And what is said, is that, people just want to register and they've not been allowed to do so. Now, INEC had a deadline for online registration that was suspended on May 30. The deadline for, physical registration for you to be able to get your PVC is June 30. Up to this moment, INEC is saying that it has not taken any decision to extend voter registration. And many groups, civil society groups, they've been saying, look, extend it, including even a group that calls themselves a Vote for Youth campaign, involving Yaga Africa, INEC itself, and also with support from the European Union. But there was an explanation that was offered by a gentleman called Yahya Bello. He's the resident electoral commissioner for INEC. He said, look, this whole thing is a process. That getting your, coming for voter registration is just one leg of it. And he said something that I found instructive. He said, the people who are rushing now, who are asking for registration, who are asking for machines, even if you are documented, you cannot get your PVC till maybe January next year or beyond even. So which means that the people being captured now, they're not even likely able to get the PVC they are asking for to be able to take part in that process. Second, he said, after you have been captured, INEC will need to go and produce the card. And that card, I don't think is produced in Nigeria. It will take months. By the time the cards arrive, there is no mechanism. He didn't say that, but I'm making my own observation to even inform people that the cards have arrived. And that card, you cannot collect it even when it comes by proxy or in writing. You have to collect it in person. So, yes, it's good that there is an upsurge, people leaving the exercise to the last minute. But the hope that many of these persons who are saying, give us our machine, give us our PVC, that they will be able to vote in the 2023 election will be very difficult. Maybe in all cycle elections later, maybe in 2027. Now, to go back to the issue about you don't need identification to be able to vote, well, I guess anywhere in the world, you need some form of identification.
No, he says PVC, not identification. So if you're a Nigerian, you should be allowed to vote without even going to have a PVC.
With any government ID.
Yes, with any government ID. That's what he's saying.
We have multiple documentation, multiple registration in this country. That's why the argument has always been made for some kind of central database.
Correct.
But we don't have that in Nigeria. And hence you have a situation whereby you must have your voter's card, which is a means of identification, because you will have gone through a filtering process. If we just say any kind of ID card, should be adequate, okay, somebody can come from Ghana, can come from Niger, can come from wherever, and just bring any Nigerian-looking ID, not necessarily an international passport. So I think this is just a way of making sure that the process, is structured and that people don't just infiltrate the process because they want to make a statement. But in spite of all of that, I think Nigerians, we should learn that this thing called continuous voters registration is not something you leave till the last minute.
Yes.
But in the interim, INEC is not enough for an INEC resident electoral commissioner to say that, look, to produce the card can take eternity.
Yes.
Now that INEC has seen, that the voters are mobilized and are enthusiastic about exercising their rights, whatever can be done, whatever support that INEC can be given to make sure that those who are registering now are not going to wait till 2027.
Yes.
That should be done.
Yes, I like the fact that you said they have to create a central registration system. I mean, if we have our NIN or BVN, it should be enough. That is the sentiment there. Sorry, Rufai, before I take your comment. In another development, the governor of Edo State, Obaseki, in a video now making the rounds on social media, raised the alarm on how the impact of the movement by Peter Obi supporters, tagged Obidients, may affect the chance of the ruling All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party at the 2023 presidential election. In the video, Obaseki noted that the Nigerian youth no longer wants to be associated with the country's leading political parties because they are now looking for alternatives. Let's take a look.
The future of our politics in this country is changing. I don't know how you are, whether you are closely watching what is going on. The level of disenchantment with the existing parties. I'm sure in all our homes here, we have so many people now who call themselves Obidients. I don't know whether you have them in your house. Just ask them, all those children, where are you, which party are you for? They say Obedient. Do you understand? They don't want us. They're not talking about APC or PDP. They are looking for alternatives. And they are much, much more. You see all of them queuing for PVCs now. They are not looking the direction of APC or PDP. They are looking for alternatives. If we don't make our party attractive, I do not know what will happen in the next elections.
Well, supporters of Peter Obi, self-described as Obidients, have been campaigning en masse across Nigeria. Let's take a look.
They say we don't have structures. Let them come and see the structures. They say we are only online. Please tell me if this is online.
1 million man march for Peter Obi taking place. We are live at Ikeja alone. Get your PVC. Vote for Peter Obi.
Tundu, you know, you said that there is a catalyst for this reason why people are coming out. Maybe this is it. Who knows? Rufai.
I mean, yeah, like you said rightly, Tundu, the catalyst is suffering, is poverty, is hunger. And when that is the case, people look for anybody that aligns with them. So that might be the reason why these people are coming out for Obi. I mean, it happened in Tunisia. You know, Professor said, when everything was down for Tunisia, they gravitated towards a candidate. So people have a right to gravitate towards a candidate, which is fine. Secondly, let's talk about INEC. We have a data point that is aggregated. It's called the NIN number. That's
NIN,
one of the,
yes.
Yeah, that's your most
earlier.
aggregated data point in this country. And I don't see any reason why INEC cannot use that data point. And I tell you why. Because with your NIN number has already been aggregated to the data point of your international passports. So if you do your new registration with your international passports, they ask you for your NIN number that is quoted. So there's a data aggregation there. Your international passport has a high level of your biometrics.
Yes.
What they should do now is what they are doing in India. India has a system called the Aadhaar system. The unique identification system in India started in 2010. It is one of the biggest data sets in the world. It's got over captured data, empirical data, biometrics of over 1 billion people in India. The Electoral Commission in India, and obviously as we know, India is the biggest democracy in the world. The Electoral Commission in India now is trying to integrate that data set, the Aadhaar data set, and the voters registration data set. So you can have one holistic data, and that's what we should do. And I think the first way to go as regards that is our NIN number. Once you can clarify every encumbrance around NIN, harmonize that data set, people should be only able to present just only NIN number.
I agree with
and they are able to vote. Because you see, now, everywhere I go in this country, my major identification is my NIN number. Even in the airport, when I'm about to board a plane, it's my NIN number. So once I have that number should be able to afford me to vote. And that should be sort of like your social security number.
In terms of penetration, not many Nigerians even have that NIN number.
That is the idea.
Those who have it are those
Yes.
who need it for now. But
right.
Maybe we'll get there someday. Thank you very much, Ojineka.
Thank you, as always, for a great analysis. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you tomorrow.